2 years ago, Alex had little to no social media audience. Today, he grows about 200,000 followers a month across Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok. And this helps his business generate millions of dollars per month in the process. Now, to run this system, it costs him about $80,000 a month. But today, I'm going to break it down for you for free so you can hopefully learn from it and implement different parts of it yourself. Now, the first secret to Alex's success is volume. Whether he's talking about getting better at sales, growing an audience, or the ability to grow massive calves, which he doesn't seem to stop talking about, volume is always his focus. He posts anywhere from 150 to 350 tweets every single month. And these are usually his random thoughts, things he picks up from a book or an interaction that he may have had that day. He uses this as his brain dump of ideas, but also as a testing ground, as posting these tweets allows him to see what topics and ideas people resonate with the most. He claims that in the past, he used to email these ideas to himself and then would later come back and look through all of these emails to come up with ideas for content. But he found by switching to Twitter, it would also help him understand what people are interested in, and it would just add to that testing process and is not any harder to do. What he can do from there is then handpick winning topics to record for the other platforms, which is already putting him one step ahead, which takes us on to the second phase of his strategy, which is recording. Once Alex knows what ideas people are interested in, he takes these and turns them into video content. The single tweets that he posts get turned into reels, the threads get turned into long form video. Now for long form content, he follows a simple process. He has a hook, he then tells a story, he has a framework, and then an explanation. For the short form, it's relatively similar, but obviously condensed a lot. And he goes for a hook, then something that's going to make people laugh, and then an example, and then an explanation. For the longer form stuff, he might have to repeat this process over and over. If it's 10 tips on how to do this, he might repeat that 10 times. What this setup allows him to do is hold attention much longer, which leads to a lot more reach and growth across his channels. Pretty straightforward so far, right? Take the ideas that work on one platform, expand them into video, and then you're good to go. And this will give you content to cover most of the major platforms. As by tweeting your content, you've obviously got Twitter covered, but you can also then post this stuff on LinkedIn, and you can turn those tweets into reels for Instagram. You then take the longer form content and post it on YouTube. You can potentially have that translated into a blog post. You can even take clips from that long form to post across YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, and TikTok. Which takes us onto the third phase, which is call to actions. Now, Alex claims he grew his podcast listener base 20 times over in only 6 months by simply adding call to actions to his episodes, which sounds obvious, right? But not so many of us, myself included, do this. We're so busy trying to create interesting content that we never remind people to tell a friend or follow or subscribe or push people to their business. Now, Alex has a bunch of different call to actions that he pushes across his content. However, to distill it down to a really simple formula, at the start of a piece of content, he always asks for the lowest effort. This could be a share, this could be a review, or maybe subscribe, all of which are done without taking someone off the platform and without requiring much effort. Very simple to do. This is usually because earlier in a piece of content, people are obviously less invested. They're less likely to go and spend money a minute into a podcast than they are to simply leave a review or follow you. Midway through the content, he asks for something slightly higher effort, but usually it's still free, such as joining his email list or downloading a free lead magnet. Then at the end of the video, when the only people who are left watching are fully bought into his content and his message, he pushes people to the main funnel, either directly to a big offer that he has or potentially to a low ticket product where he then has upsells on the back end, because these people are likely ready to buy it if they've sat through his entire podcast or his full YouTube video. Now, to simplify this process, he'll bulk record all of this and then have his editor slip them into the videos and mix them up so it doesn't get boring. Which takes us onto phase 4, contextualize. This pretty much comes down to making it fit the platform. Don't have your TikTok watermark when posting on Instagram. Don't have your Instagram watermarks when posting on YouTube. And a lot of basic things, like on YouTube, for longer form, obviously you have to have a thumbnail. For Instagram, that doesn't really matter. For TikTok, it might come across slightly different. I don't do a lot there, so I don't understand TikTok as much. Even when it comes to thumbnails, the thumbnail you post on YouTube YouTube will be slightly different to the one that you use for your podcast. As on a podcast, you have to upload it square. And then if you're going to post on LinkedIn, you might not post it as an image, but you have to turn it into a PDF. All of these little sort of minor details that you discover over time and that allow you to tailor it to these platforms. And then finally, it takes us onto the 5th step of his plan, which is his distribution. He said by going from posting just 7 times a week on social media to 80 times a week on social media, he went from 160,000 followers to over 1 million followers in 6 months, as well as 150,000 podcast listeners and over 150,000 books sold, which is ridiculous. Just by increasing the volume of his work, he's exploded his audience and is probably one of the most well-known people in the space. And this again is something that I constantly stress in my content, that the more content you post, assuming it doesn't decrease the quality, the faster you will grow. This doesn't mean you have to go out there and all of a sudden start posting 80 times per week on social media. But maybe if you post 4 times a week, you could look at how you could create a system around that process. So then all of a sudden you can create twice as much in the same amount of time. And now you're posting 8 times a week. Then as your audience starts to grow and maybe you start generating some additional revenue from your content, you might hire an editor, and that might allow you to, with the same amount of time, now create 15 or 20 pieces of content. And all of a sudden you've gone from 4 pieces to 20 pieces of content a week just by implementing a few changes over a few months. And with that, your business is then going to grow. You can then look at hiring more people or putting more time towards it, which again is going to allow you to produce more and grow faster. Now that's Alex's 5-step framework, but he also gave away 3 other massive secrets that helps his content actually perform well. Now, the first one is that the big question everyone has when they stumble across your content is, why should I listen to you? And one of my clients actually posted something similar on LinkedIn recently, which was people respond to your DMs not because of what you say, but who you are. In essence, you need credibility. It doesn't matter how good your gym advice is, theoretically, no one will listen if you don't look the part as well. The same way that it doesn't matter how good your social media tips are, if someone clicks on your profile and there's 300 followers, they probably won't listen. On the other hand, a gym bro who has average advice but is in amazing shape will probably get 10 times the impressions and reach. It's not necessarily good, it's probably not great for the end consumer, but once you understand this, you can make sure that you've got your aesthetic in place so that things look good on your social media or in the videos that you create. You show people that you actually know what you're talking about so that they will listen, and then you can deliver great advice. This is the same reason why a social media guru will buy a ton of fake followers, and then it actually makes them a lot of money because all of a sudden they look credible, even though they're not. People will still trust them and pay for their advice or their services, even if they're terrible. Now, his second secret is that the way you create interesting content is to do something, talk about what you did, and then go do something bigger and repeat the process. You can see this with Alex. He grows a company, talks about it, and then goes and grows something bigger. In the process, he documents it on social media, gains a big audience, and then so he talks about how he did that and then repeats. Pretty simple process. It also makes it a lot less stress-free, coming up with content ideas and what to talk about. When you can get a result and then just talk about how you did it, then go do the next thing. So you need to continue that path of learning, implementing, and building if you want to have really interesting content on social media, instead of just sticking to the same old stuff that is regurgitated online. And this is probably why Alex has done so well with his content, is because he's got so many interesting experiences and results to talk about. And then finally, the third secret that he has is literally give away all of the secrets for free and then sell the implementation. A lot of people that I've worked with in the past have this fear that if they give away everything for free, they're not going to be able to sell anything. And the thing is, information these days is free. You can go on YouTube, you can go on blogs, you can go on podcasts and find most of what is in paid courses entirely free. And so if you don't give away the secrets, someone else will do it. And so you might as well be the one who gets the audience and the benefit from giving it away. And by giving away all the secrets for free, you will not put yourself out of business, because people are still going to need specific advice. They're still going to need help implementing things. They're still going to need help with accountability. And there are so many things you can sell on the back end that is more than just information. And then the flip side of not giving away all of your secrets for free is that you build no audience, and then that doesn't help your business at all. So that's it for today's video. If you need help implementing this, book a call with me down below and we'll see if we are able to help help you as a client, whether it be through services, consulting, etc. We'll see if we can help you. If not, subscribe to the channel and I will see you in the next one.